Hello. Now I jumped into live to share a very profound message that I called from the illusion of secondary causes to the reality of primary source. So, what are those secondary causes? It is those surface appearances, events, reactions, opinions. And if we mistaken those as the reality of all that is happening to us, then we greatly limit ourselves, and then we are experiencing instability, separateness, fear, biases, conflicts, and so on. And for example, if we evaluate our biological parents and our body as the cause for our life, then again, we are greatly limiting ourselves, because what we truly are is much more when biological circumstances. Truly, we are all reflections of the divine, which is boundless wholeness. And if we evaluating secondary causes as something random, accidental, when we miss the intimate communication with the beloved, with the divine, which sees us in full clarity and communes with us in a very specific, individualized way, always with benevolence and loving service. And if we blame secondary causes for our suffering, then we completely miss the message from our higher self or subconsciousness that attempts to deliver love into our wounds. So, if we miss it, then that signal of suffering prolongs until we learn to interpret it correctly. And the whole endless chain of causation and also hierarchy is an illusion, which can be useful. It paints a picture, it helps to understand things, but if it is not seen through, then it is very limiting. And eventually it creates more suffering, more confusion. So it is seen through when we recognize and acknowledge our private connection with the source, with the ultimate source, which is one, and then acknowledging that connection in everything. Since it is one, which is all, it can only be truly recognized from within. So it is more like a wheel, not like hierarchy, but more like a wheel where all the spokes of manifestation connects to the single hub, which symbolizes in this case the primordial being, even though it is invisible. But that's why it is primordial. If it would be visible, it would not be primordial. And it is prime mover, which itself doesn't move. So even though it is unmanifested, it is what actually is. It is what is actually real. And all that manifests is only temporal, partial symbolization of that. So all relationships is one relationship through unconditional love to that one being, where everything completes it and it therefore completes everything, even if that everything is inexhaustible process of creation. So that is perfection. That is completeness, contentment in motion, alive, enjoyable. So I invite you to feel it, to recognize it. Yes, when we recognize the real, then we can recognize the sincere reality that is being expressed through illusion. But if we do not recognize the real, then yes, it is, and mistake the real for those partial symbols of reality, then yes, it is only a misleading illusion, and sincerity in that is also misleading illusion. We can see that with our intricate limiting beliefs. We can create very realistic experiences, but when we outgrow it, we see that was not what we actually meant through our most sincere heart, which is in direct communion with the source. So from one side, we can see and think that it communes with us through various intermediaries or sequences of events and so on. But again, in the reality, all of that which we can call intermediaries or sequences, all of these things has a direct connection to the one. So when we are noticing that, and yes, and eventually we came to that obviousness that there is only one, which is all, and which simultaneously we are, even though we are experiencing it partially. But all experiences are partial. But again, in that light of oneness, in that vision of oneness, we can see that all the partiality is also a celebration of totality. So I invite you to hold that awareness, which holds both multiplicity and unity, oneness. When you allow yourself to experience experiences through your senses, through your intellect, but simultaneously also through your inner eye and purity of your inner heart. So, living in that awareness brings truly sustainable harmony and happiness. And yes, many beings on this earth still seeks it in those secondary causes. But they in themselves are empty. So when we face that emptiness of secondary causes, when we face the nothingness of our own personality, I invite us sincerely to stay there. I know it is challenging for many because there is a power of inertia, or also we can see it illusion, very convincing illusion of inertia going on in our experience. But yes, just stay with that pure nothingness until it reveals the sparkling contentment of the source, which then inspires our being for its gracious service. So we are waking up from the dream of fragmentation into oneness, and then we are reintegrating into the world of multiplicity together with the vision of oneness. So then it completes the cycle. And of course, that cycle continues, and that experience of this harmonious balance of perspectives deepens. So yeah, I encouraging us to cultivate that awareness, that simultaneous awareness, and to keep polishing, cleaning our perception, our heart, for it to reflect that beauty, that divine beauty and love in everything. And that reflection is not only passive perception. That reflection is also our responses, our actions, which are mediated by that awareness. And that mediation is love. Respect, love, compassion for all forms of existence. So that is true, complete cycle of that divine integration realized. And I know those words, those sentences can sound strange, but they are only signs, they are only, again, symbols, maps. But I hope between those words and sentences you get the message, you get that resonance within your being. And if that is so, let me know. I would be happy to receive some feedback. And if you would like, you can also reach me out for my private sessions. Yeah, my primary language is not English, but still it is coming through, and I am still refining that skill. But yes, I am here. I am available for service. I also available for donations. There is some info on the info tab, and I also feel inspired to do recorded courses or even courses with interaction if group will appear, where I will teach the art of inner alchemy. So that is like a bridge to what I just shared. That would be very comprehensive and integral, harmonious bridge to reveal that quality of experience about which I just shared. So, thank you very much. My endless gratitude, blessings, love, and see you in the moment. Bye.